The smart move on Biden's part is to slow down and back off and let things simmer down. Otherwise, if he makes a move, it can escalate quickly out of his control. But of course, because that happens, everybody seems to think nothing will happen. I don't know that that's the case, considering all the other news that we've been seeing and the fact that even with the Texas National Guard putting up the razor wire, this has not stopped. The bill that's being proposed where Joe Biden's like, I've done everything I can. You got to give me the power. The bill they're proposing would give Joe Biden 5,000 criminal aliens. I'm not talking about migrants or asylees or whatever. 5,000 criminal aliens every day would be allowed to cross. That's the deal. Joe Biden, basically, I got to give it to him. He must have read The Art of the Deal, read some Donald Trump. The big ask. Joe Biden allows wave after wave of criminal migrant to come in this country and then says, how about we stop it at 5,000? And that's a deal. Brutal. I don't know where this goes, Texas National Guard. I know you've been down there quite a bit and you've seen some of this. So I'm curious your thoughts, Taylor.
Yeah, well, I mean, just in Shelby Park and in Eagle Pass in specific, I mean, it is cleaned up. It is day and night difference. I mean, I was down there, I would say, at the beginning of January. And I mean, I did a little tour with National Guard. They were nice enough to let me in and actually go and see the razor wire. And, they kind of gave me the ins of how many crossings had actually been stopped. On average, they were averaging anywhere, when I was down there, it was 6 to 4 migrants a day compared to, I was there the month prior.
6 to 4,000?
No, 6 to 4. That's it.
Wait.
With National Guard in Shelby Park, in one of the regions in the Del Rio sector that used to be one of the most popular. And I mean, they were shattering records every single month.
It was like 10,000 per day.
Yeah, well, in the month before that, if you guys saw the kind of makeup apprehension site where you had thousands, filling in every single 10 minutes as one line is cleared, another line fills, that's how much of a difference that it has made in that one sector. So now you're seeing rises in the Arizona sectors, and migrants are making their way over there, or 15 miles, upland, and now they're crossing in that area. But it's still not nearly as much. So it is working.
This is the challenge of separate states, sovereign states. The Biden administration, as a federal agency, just wants to bring in criminal aliens. So when Texas says we're going to push back, all the Biden administration has to do is, well, I shouldn't say the Biden administration, but whoever is communicating with the cartels to let them know how to operate, send them to Arizona. I'm sure they got CBP down there that's willing to facilitate the human smugglers operations. And if anybody who lives there tries to defend their property, we'll put them in prison. Right. That seems to be the case.
And this wasn't the case under Doug Ducey, who was really supportive of Abbott. He also bussed people out of state. It's apparent to me how obvious the changes in our state leadership are to people in other countries, right? We know people pay attention to the America's presidential elections, but I think the turnover from a Republican governor to a Democratic governor immediately opened up Arizona in a way that became apparent to the international community that's looking to perforate the border.
Yeah, well, and Arizona's an absolute mess right now. If you look at like Ali Bradley or any of the reporters of the News Nation that are down there, they did a really good job at covering it. And now you're seeing numbers spike in that area once again, while the Del Rio sector is drastically dropping. And, there's a big difference between those two sectors, the kinds of migrants that you get through. You get a lot of Chinese nationals coming through in the Arizona sectors. They're treated a lot differently in Tapachula, which is kind of the conglomeration grounds in Mexico where, they're kind of sent up. I mean, they have full-blown hotels and, routes and guides for these Chinese people because they have more money. So then they're guided into over in, the Tijuana area, and they're treated, with respect. They don't really have to go through the cartels, but the Venezuelans, the Hondurans, those types that you're seeing come through Eagle Pass consistently, they're oftentimes being traded from cartel to cartel every single step of the way.